Good morning all. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we're going to embark on a 2010 Volvo S80 3.2 liter. I'm going to do the brake vacuum pump and got a seal kit. I got this bad boy's leaking, and these are notorious for it, so if you're getting some spots in the driveway and all over transmission and whatnot, that'd be a culprit. I'll show you general area where it is. It's right there, that dark nasty looking thing, getting oil all over it. It's a 3.2 liter, and these are famous for that. You can see the oil spots in the driveway. That's what you're gonna get, and if you crawl underneath it, you're gonna see a whole bunch of oil. So here's the kit we're gonna use. Comes with the O-rings and the connector for the brake line and screws. So we're going to get rolling on this here in a bit. So we're back going to start taking some of the stuff and get it out of the way. Just the air cleaner, I believe, is going to come off. The air hose for the intake, I'm going to be taking that off. Obviously the big cover, so all that stuff will be coming off. And I do believe you don't have to take the battery out, but we're going to get into that. All this stuff is basic stuff. If you worked on Volvos before, it's all basic stuff. So we'll start taking this apart and see what we get into. So this is my first video working on Volvos. I've been working on Volvos for about 10 years or so, and wrong, right, and different. I'll show you some ins and outs, and hopefully better things to do, because I don't see too many videos on this. So, but you're gonna take this cover off. This clips on. Give her a good yank. See that rubber grommet come off? That's cool. That one's missing a rubber grommet. That's nice. Don't know where that one went. Oh, there it is. So the things you get into, rubber grommet come out. Put that back in there so it'll work. So we're going to take off the air box, take this off, but you want to be careful of that down there because it connects to your intake. That's kind of a pain in the butt to get to. So I got the air box loosened up, took the battery cover off, got it out of the way. I got to move the box, take that front of the box off here in a minute. But I loosened this air box cover all up, so we're going to take that off. Just it's connected here on top. Pull this out. Give her a yank. I'm just going to fold this over. I'm going to leave that connected for the mass airflow sensor and leave that there, because I think I'm going to just tie this up and get it up out of the way, because I don't want to disconnect it down there. And then work on getting that box off. Show you that in a minute. Alright, well, we're back. Got the air cleaner out. Need to get a new one of those. That's pretty nasty. We just bought this car in July, so finding some goofy things wrong with it. But anyways, this front of the box for the battery needs to come off, because obviously you got to get to that, and this is in the way. So I ain't gonna lie, this is a pain in the ass to get off of. Got these clips here on the side. You got to kind of pry them out and pull it out. So the ones on the top are pretty easy, but there's one on each side on the bottom, very bottom, and the hood release cable down in there is in your way, so it's kind of a pain in the butt. But I ain't gonna lie, I almost thought I broke it, but I don't think I did. Anyways, So all this has got to come off. This got to loosen, take that off. This bracket, from what I've seen online, has got to come off. So that's why we got to do all this. So I'm gonna try and wiggle this front cover off underneath that battery. Actually, probably just gonna take it off here. That would free up, give me some room. But that's what I'm gonna work on next, and that's where we're at. All right, folks. Gotta love working on cars. So had to get this air compressor, air conditioning line up out of the way. So he took the nut off here, and there's a nut off down there. Take those off so you can move that out of your way, because you gotta get this bracket off. So you can get this bracket off. So you can get this bracket off, and then I just tied off. I tied off this electrical line, the battery line. Got that up out of the way. So as you can see, that's what we got to work with. That's our pump. As you can see, there's a lot of oil. So this bad boy here is a culprit, and then there's a couple O-rings in there that are culprits. So I'm gonna work on getting these brackets off. Again, this is all basic stuff. If you worked on Volvos before, you know how it is. We'll get that bracket off and see you then. Alright, so we got the brackets loose. This bracket here, but then you have to take this one here off also to get to that big one. So I got those two nuts off of that. So that just comes off like so. It looks like that. Goes back in there like that. Covers that last bolt you got to get this arm off. So just pain in the ass. So I got those two off. I just got to get that last one off. I did have to take the box off for the air cleaner. Took that off. It's sitting over here. That just pops off, just held by rubber grommets. That end gets into the front. It's all basic stuff. Hopefully it ain't too confusing for you, but so far that's what we got. Let's take that one bracket off, and then I believe that's everything. So be back in a minute. Alright, so we got this bracket out. Got that last bolt that was down here, or down there, sorry. That was down there. So we got those out. So we got a clear shot to the brake pump. So you got two bolts only holding that on, one on the left, one on the right, and then you got this vacuum line going back to the brakes. I guess you gotta be careful taking that off so you don't break that. I'm gonna try and set my camera up so you can watch me break that. Not. But yeah, pretty basic stuff. Just gotta get crap out of your way. That's about it. Let me set my camera up and see if we can get it so you can watch me take that out. Alright, so we got everything out. That this main vacuum line is kind of goofy, so I'm going to wait till I get the pump off. There's only two bolts, 10mm bolts, one right there and one on the other side. I kind of sprayed it down with brake cleaner, cleaned it out a little bit, put a towel underneath there because it's going to drip some oil. Now I'm going to take that vacuum line off because it's not cooperating. Because this is what you're going to replace it with. So the O-ring obviously goes down inside, and then that clips onto that. So I'm going to try it that way, and so I will pull those two off and see what we get. Alright, well, I'm going to set the camera up and see what you guys can see, if you guys can see. So it's just 10mm. Nothing too crazy. No crazy special tools you need, none of that stuff. Pretty basic mechanicing 101. Hopefully I'm not blocking your view. bolts. So yeah, you spray this off and clean it a little bit. It's a lot less messier. All right, let's see if this bad boy will come off. Yep, comes right off. All right, not too much oil. That's a good thing. That's what you got. It goes right into there. All right, so we're gonna try and get this bad boy off here. All right, so you squeeze these two ends and this comes off. That's pretty easy. All right, so then you're just left with this. All right. All right, so we got our patient. I'm going to, this is filled with a lot of gravel, dirt and grime, and you can't see, but that O-ring is pretty flat. So I'm just gonna kind of spray this a little bit, get her cleaned up a little bit. So yeah, it's got a lot of, it's been leaking for, it's only got 77,000 miles on it, but evidently it must have been leaking. Must be a great design. It's got another 2010 sitting over there with a 190. And we had that one replaced. About the same mileage. I baby stuck to it too, so that's gotten hot. I think this is the one. So you can see that's pretty flat. A lot of people saying, yeah, this is the one that is right up against the motor, so it's getting a lot of heat. So these kits are relatively cheap. I think I paid, I don't know, 30-40 bucks for it. But so this is a nice super duper green one. Makes it better. Something like that. Alright. Slide that bad boy on there. Alright. So that one's done. And then we're gonna pop these screws off. These are in here tight. It's a nice kit to give you new screws. Like I say, it's a pretty cheap fix for, I mean, it's probably a couple $200-300 job at anywhere really, dealer or mechanic. But just getting them to diagnose it, you know, is the key. I mean, they'll try and sell you a new transmission or something other stupid thing that'll cost you thousands of dollars. Like I say, we've been driving Volvos for 10 years, and I do a lot of work myself. We're originally from Jackson, Michigan, and I had a great guy up there that worked on Volvos. I had him do my high-end stuff. He was a little more expensive, but he was a pretty reliable guy. He's a young guy, certified in Volvos. So this is going to come off just like so. You don't want it to rest. Don't rest it on there, because it'll pop up. You don't want to do that. So that's what it looks like. That's the innards. Alright. So I'm going to pop this flat O-ring out. That's what that looks like. Just clean that groove out the best you can. Let that sit like that for a minute. I'll wipe this off. So I'm sure I'm doing things different than other people, but I'm just a shady tree mechanic. I've done water pumps on these Volvos, these P3 chassis. I've done water pumps, all the pulleys, all that stuff. On the P2s, I've had a lot of P2s. You know, like a 2001 to 2007 Volvos. I've done those timing chains or timing belts. A lot of work on them. So don't be too afraid of them. They're I'm putting the wrong screws back in. Don't be afraid of them. They're easy to work on. Generally, they're not that crazy to work on. You just gotta have the patience. Just gotta have the patience. Got shiny, nice shiny little screws for it. So if you own a Volvo and if you like to do things yourself, you might want to look and getting that software called Vita. I bought mine off of eBay. Guy had a laptop and he had software all loaded up with it. I think it was like $200-300. It'll help you out with electrical part of Volvos. Pretty handy. That's if you own Volvos, like we've owned them. I've owned many. My kids all drove them. It's definitely worth your time. So this lid just sits right on top of there. Not like it has to line up with anything, as long as both those line up. So this is a weird contraption Volvo does. You know, most other people use vacuum off the motor. This creates its own vacuum, it looks like, for your brakes. So it's a little bit different. But from what I understand, this 3.2 is a it is a Range Rover motor. It's not a Volvo, because as you know, Volvo sometimes farm their motors out, like the Yamaha and the V8 they had in the XC90 and the S80 in the 2007, 2008, I believe it was 2007. Sorry. That was bad. That was fast, but you know, they had its own quirks to work on. I think one of them was the alternator was a pain in the ass to work on. So they all have their quirks. Like these are weird because everything's on the driver's side, all the drive, and then the alternator is driven off a different kind of pulley system, which gets real expensive. I had to have the one done on my other one sitting over there. I had to have that done. That was with the alternator and all that carrier bearing stuff. It was about, I think it was like $3,000. So, all right. So got this nice and tight. All right. So we got our, we'll just have to worry about where this little paddle lines up onto the end of the camshaft, so pay attention when you're moving that around. Okay, just gotta get this booger out. Figure out how to do that. Okay, got that in. No, that didn't work. It's a pain in the ass. There we go. So yeah, you just got to work these 2 spring-loaded deals. Push those in. Wipe my hands off, getting all nasty and dirty. Probably should clean that a little bit better, but I think it'll be fine. Just make sure the maintenance service is nice and clean. All right. Wipe that out a little bit. Just O-ring side in. Got these 2 little tabs right there, top and bottom. Those are lined up, and just press it in. Gotta use my old man strength. Almost. Son of a bitch. That yet, but it's not in there just quite the way I want it. I think that's it now. I heard a click. That's all in there. See how it's all lined up. So that's it. Again, just make sure this mating O-ring's clean, and just clean that off better for future reference. Note to self: when you take that off again, make sure it's really clean, because handling it gets shit all over. So I would clean it better next time. Hopefully I gotta do another one next time, but that's it for that. I'm gonna get over here and prep the other side, and I'll get back with you. All right, good folks. So we're embarking on putting it back together. Get some gloves on. So that's your crank. And there's your air conditioner pump. And there's your pulley. Someone replaced the air conditioner pump on this bad boy already. There's all your pulleys and stuff. That's why it's kind of pain in the butt to leaking oil. It's getting all over your belt and everything. But if you ever get involved with this, doing a pulley and everything, you got a pulley right here, and then you got a tensioner down below. You got power steering off to the right. Here's your air conditioner. If you ever do the belt alone, you got to loosen your air conditioner pump off. You got to take all the bolts off it and get it so it moves off to the side to get to that pump, to get your belt off. So a normal belt change on this is like a 2-hour job. It's a very expensive job at a dealer. Do it yourself, it's just takes a lot of time. It takes about 3 hours to do. But this is what I was talking about. This is a passenger driver's side accessories, all your belts and everything over here, and then off right here is where your alternator is. It's got a little pulley underneath the air conditioner. It's very expensive to get replaced. That's what I was talking to you about. I had my buddy do that, and it was $3,000. Alternator's expensive. All that stuff's expensive. So hopefully you don't have to ever deal with it. All right, so back to this. So this little gizmo here, hopefully you can see it. You need to have that lined up with that end of that camshaft. So it can only, if it's not in there lined up right, it ain't gonna go in. So be gentle with it. Just don't go hog wild forcing things, but just make sure it's just sets right in. It should go in there nice and easy. Should have no resistance whatsoever. All right. So I'm gonna hand start these 2 screws. Notice I ain't messed with that vacuum hose yet, just because I don't want it in my way. So yeah, it's not too bad of a job. I didn't have to take too much stuff off than I thought. I mean, you get messing with this air ductwork down to your throttle body. It's kind of that throttle body has got a hose clamp on it. It's a pain in the butt to do, so that's why I didn't want to monkey around taking the whole thing off. Because my wife, she called me one day, said hers wouldn't start, and it had come off. It's because if it comes off, it'll almost act like your mass airflow sensor is bad. So yeah, just nothing crazy. It's all O-rings, so you don't have to go hog wild and tighten it up. I mean, everybody torques. Everybody does torques, but I'll be honest with you, I haven't used a torque wrench on any of my Volvo work. Hate to be that way, but that's what I haven't had any troubles yet, so I'll probably have trouble with this. Just double check and make sure these all. So I'm sure everybody hopefully won't have bad opinions. This is my first tutorial on working on a car. I just figured I kept running up against not too much on it, so figured I'd try and help some people out. So there's that. That's all in there. And then this bad boy should just slip right on, I would think. Yep, clicks right in. All right. That's it. Take my rag out of there. Okay. So we'll start by putting this one back in here. This is a pain in the butt. Jeez, you make it so difficult. There we go. All right. So we got one big one goes right here. You got this long one right yonder. That's a 10. At least everything's a 10. Except this one here. That's a big one. 500 foot-pounds of torque. Get this out of the way. We're pretty much done getting that. So it's all pretty general. I mean, once you get stuff out of your way, it's pretty easy. You got a little bit of mechanical ability, you'll be fine. Tighten up this 13. Alright, that's tight. Alright, so we're gonna put this other goofy one on here. Back on. Brackets and more brackets. Again, these are just brackets for, this one's just for the air conditioning line, that's all it does. Alright. Alright. That goes on there. Lost them. 10mm nuts, all they are. Nothing crazy. Bam. Here's the cover, pesky cover, pain in the butt. This hood release cable messes with you. All right, there we go. Goes just like that. Yep. Then your brake cable, or brake line, or your brake line, your battery cable. It's gonna go in there just right. I got the one side in, the other side is fight me. I think it's because of the, there we go. That's a pain in the ass. Stupid setup. And put your cover back on. This one's all jacked up, broke. I don't know how the hell that happened, but joys of buying a used car. And stupid shit happens. People don't know what the hell they're doing. Put your cover back on for your fuses. Let me grab the air box. Good time to shake this out, blow it out if you got crap in here. Make sure you put it back in this hole for your intake. Make sure it's in there so you get some fresh air. That's all grommets. Make sure they're in there right, and then it'll seat itself. So this hose over here is not cooperating. Not cooperating whatsoever. So you get some good fresh air, so we gotta make sure it's on there right. There we go. Oh, maybe. Oh. That's stupid. There we go. Alright, that's a dumb setup. And just give it a push down, make sure it's seated. Okay. Alright. Put your dirty filter back in. Put a new one of them bad boys on. And this cover. Alright. And of course, something. Oh, there we go. Okay. Alright, that's it. I'll tighten those 4 screws up and tighten that clamp up, and we'll be all done. That's all you had to do. So hopefully the video helped out.